Along the way, she kept looking behind us and asking us why that big man with black eyes was following us. Welcome to the Halloween special of the DRIP podcast. Now, for the viewers, it looks like there's just three of us. There is actually all five. Bailey and Myers' cameras aren't working, so they're audio only. But me, Lozzie, and Scott are representing visually today for this Halloween special. This Halloween special that, listen, I'm just going to get straight into it because we've got a lot to cover. Just like last year. Last year's Halloween special, we all brought a story to tell, a scary story. It can be aliens, it can be ghosts, it can be possession, or it can just be a fucking disturbing story. All it's got to do is chill you. That is the brief for today's podcast episode. So, shall we get into this?
Before we start.
Oh.
I've pranked you all.
Oh.
My camera isn't broken.
Oh, great.
I do
Single me
have
out. I like it. Single me out.
So, since it's a Halloween,
Oh.
I do have the costume.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
What the?
What on earth is
Myra's wearing a bald cap.
So not only have I been singled out for not having a camera, she's taking the piss out of me as well.
Yeah,
Bailey's camera's
come as
also working.
This is great.
Myra's come as Bailey today.
Do you know what? Right, I've been away from the pod for a little while now,
Yeah.
and this is my welcome back. So I appreciate
That's
it.
I thought I'd do this in case you couldn't make it.
That's it.
Then
Well,
you should be
there you
here in
go.
spirit.
For the audio listeners, Maya has a bald cap on.
And no eyebrows.
And no, I was going to say that's the
Put it over the top of your eyebrows.
That's the thing we're concerned
The way
about.
it is. I just have sideburns, no eyebrows, no hair. Just
No, sideburns or something.
sideburns.
There you go.
That's it.
Been growing
That
up.
would be a look. That would be a look.
Exactly.
There we go. There we go.
Now I gotta sit like this for the next hour. This was a fucking mistake.
Mistakes were made.
Oh dear. Right, who wants to go first? Who wants to start with their story?
I mean, I could just get mine out of the way.
Go on then.
That's
Get
the
out of
spirit.
the way. That's
I'm
Mine-
it.
excited
I
for
don't-
this one.
There was no consensus on how long we were gonna.
Right.
No.
Or
If,
story
now,
wise.
Loz, if this
It's
is
one of
two
them
sentences.
two-line stories.
Once upon a time.
I'm
Boom.
telling you that this is probably the longest thing I've ever read on the podcast.
Oh shit! Buckle up.
3-sentence horror story.
Right, so this one is called "I Thought My House Was Haunted. The Truth Is Much Scarier."
Oh.
That's-
Okay.
That's it.
Ah.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
I was 8 years old when I last saw my mother. We lived in a somewhat big house out in the countryside, a decent drive from the nearest towns and cities. One night, I heard cries and screams coming from the walls. I yelled for my mum, who burst in, worried. The voices didn't stop, but my mum didn't seem to notice. She banged on the walls and ordered the voices to stop and let me sleep. They did as she asked. 3 nights after, I got in the shower and turned on the water. Blood boiling, hot blood. What? Blood boiling, hot blood spit out of the shower head. I screamed as it slowly burnt my face and body. My mother pulled me out quickly and dried me off with a towel. The white towel turned red as she wiped away the blood all over me. A week later, I went back into the bathroom to brush my teeth. The light bulb overhead began to flicker, and in a quick instant, the room was dark. I saw a man staring back at me, though, through the mirror. He looked pale and skinny, as if he hadn't eaten in days. The light stopped flickering, and I almost played it off as an illusion until a bloody handprint appeared on the mirror. It was that last weekend before school starts. I laid in my bed, and I must have snoozed off for a good few minutes to half an hour when my closet door opened. Inside stood a woman, pale and skinny, like the man in the mirror. I didn't know what I was seeing at first from how dark it was, but it became clear once the woman rushed to my bed and began to strangle me.
Nice.
Jesus.
That's it. Her cold grip tightened as she accused me of killing her husband. That's when my mum barged into the room and with an axe in hand swung at the woman. The woman's head came completely off and landed on my lap.
Fucking
Jesus.
Jesus Christ. How sharp
How-
is that axe?
It's
Hang on,
like,
so this wasn't a ghost?
well,
Oh,
no, it's not.
Oh.
Okay. Just
Jesus.
spoilers. I screamed in absolute fear as my mum told me to hush. It's time I showed you something, I remember her saying. She took my hand and escorted me into my closet. She led me through a narrow tunnel that connected to every room in the house behind the walls. My memory on everything I saw is still fuzzy. Maybe I chose to forget how horrifying the sights were. I do remember, however, following my mother into the basement. Not our primary basement, but another one hidden and tucked underneath the first. Her exact words I'd rather not repeat. Just know that she was very disappointed in me and that I should just have kept quiet like a good boy. I don't know why, if there is a why. She began to bite into my neck, then my shoulder. She trailed her teeth down my arm, ripping away as much flesh as she could in her mouth. I cried and pleaded with her, but she wouldn't listen. In a movie, in this exact moment, someone would burst through the door at the last second to save me. Maybe a cop, perhaps a relative or a friend. The only reason I live to tell the story is because, for whatever reason, in that twisted psychotic mind of a mother, whatever little motherly love and instinct she held on to kicked in. She let go, apologizing in a calm manner. She left me laying on the ground as I could no longer scream and instead gasped for air as I stared at the open wound she gave me. She snatched the phone from the wall and called 911. I know it was 911 because she told whoever answered the phone everything and everybody she killed, and how I was now lying on the floor on the verge of death, and if they don't arrive in 20 minutes, she would put me out of my misery. The cop showed up 15 minutes later and raided the house. They took my mother into custody and rushed me to hospital. I didn't get to hear the report on her until I finally got to my 20s. Even with all the details, I still didn't get what was the purpose. Why did she do all of that? The voices in the wall belonged to people she buried inside, using their skin as wallpaper. The blood in the shower came from bleeding bodies that she used to fix the plumbing. It was hot because my mother thought if she left the water boiling, they would disintegrate. The mirror was a two-way mirror with the inside looking into the restroom. The flickering of the light was just a standard faulty light bulb. The woman that came out of my closet went nuts after potential weeks of little to no nutrition. She attacked me thinking I was aware of what my mother was doing and helping her. To this day, I don't know what was going on in my mother's head. The cops can't find any logical explanation for such drastic crimes. I just tell myself the house was haunted and she was possessed to move on with my life. It's the only thing I can really do.
Fucking hell.
Shit, I mean, that had so many twists and turns.
Mm.
There was one point I thought the mother was a vampire.
Same.
Mm-hmm. I'm still not entirely convinced she isn't.
I mean, all
What?
possibilities.
That's what I would think.
Where is this story from?
Reddit.
So
True,
it's real?
Well, there's some debate about some stories on Reddit. I don't know about this one. I don't
That's
know.
mad. I mean, hey, it could be.
100% factual.
So let me get this straight. What are you going to say, Maya?
I found a flaw in my costume.
Oh,
Oh.
what's that?
I'm quite expressionless.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get my eyebrows out. So
Yeah,
I know
'cause
that
you didn't
kinda
look very
ruins the
impressed by
costume.
that story at all.
Literally deadpan the whole story. Look at that. I look normal.
There you
now.
go. They do. Perfect.
I look a bit
Right.
like I'm wearing like just a hat.
Yeah, well,
So
you
I
kind of look
thought
like
I'd
you're
cover
about to go swimming.
You look
Yeah.
like you're wearing a do-rag.
Yeah.
My braids are in here. Oh,
So
shit.
let me get this straight. Obviously, the mother was murdering people.
According to
So
the story.
she was keeping people in the basement. What do you mean by fixing the pipes with the bodies?
I did think that.
I don't know the person who wrote this, and I didn't write
You
it
wrote
myself.
it.
What do
So-
you mean by that, Lozzie?
I don't know what they meant, to be honest. I don't-
Lozzie, speak your truth. What happened
you
when
survived
you grew
this
up?
story, Lozzie. Come on.
just because I lived in the countryside doesn't mean that my mum was a killer. All right.
But it was a great
Yeah.
story. It was a great story, and hey, it
That
might
was
be
good.
real.
And that
Might
was
be real.
long.
It
Yeah.
felt long. Reading it felt long.
Fucking tell me about it.
But it's a cool twist. It's a cool twist. Thought the whole house was haunted. Turns out it's filled with actual bodies, so it probably was haunted.
Yeah,
I mean, if there's
Yeah.
going to be a house that's haunted, it's probably going to be that one.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, in the comments, rate that story out of 10 for us. Okay, who's next? Who wants to take the next story? Anyone?
Okay,
Maya?
next.
Go
Mine's
on then.
brave following that.
Mine's long, so buckle in, boys and girls.
Let's go.
Oh,
Just move my bald cap packet out of the way. Okay. So, my story is called, and this is weird because I remembered what the story was that I read last year.
that's
And
a
it's
weird
And it's
name
this
for a
exactly the
one.
story.
same. I know, it's a cool name. So, it's basically, it's a very similar, it's a similar
Is it the
subject
same
matter.
story as last year?
No. Thanks, though.
Just checking.
Imagine if I just turned up with the same story, and that's where I was going with that sentence. Anyway,
Do
Let's
it.
go.
Do it.
Play it with your
my
chest.
story is called I left my phone recording while I slept. When I checked the video, I was horrified. My girlfriend moved out when she heard what I said in my sleep last night. She hasn't spoken to me since. I didn't quite understand why she left. She didn't tell me what I said, but I love her, so I wanted to give her space. If only I'd known the terrifying things I was doing. Flash forward a week to now, I decided to download one of those free apps that turns your phone into a microphone. My girlfriend was still at her mother's house, and I was missing her so much by this point. I needed to find out what I was saying in my sleep, so I set it face up on my nightstand and let it record for the whole night. I assumed I was snoring loudly or sleep talking a few words, but I never could have imagined how much worse it actually was. The next morning, I thought it would be easier to listen to it while I was at work with headphones on so I could multitask. The first night was pretty boring. I got one of those free apps that doesn't only record when there's sound, it just records non-stop. But there was nothing on the first night, which was weird since my girlfriend said I was unbearably loud. So the second night, I did the same thing, set it on my nightstand and listened to it at work the next day. After a lot of fast forwarding, I found one spot where I was mumbling something totally incoherent. It actually made me laugh, and I wondered what I was dreaming. There really wasn't anything that I thought would keep my girlfriend up at night, but she is a light sleeper, so the mumbling might have woken her up if she was there. However, on the third night, I actually heard something. I decided I was tired of fast forwarding all the time when playing back the recording, so I bought an app that only records when there's noise and lets you set the sensitivity that triggers the recording. It was kind of neat, but I thought
Nice.
a little steep for the $5 that I paid for it. I didn't set the sensitivity quite low enough because all I got was some very faint mumbling again. Someone on the bread roll and silly stuff like that. Although a little more frequent than the previous night. I could definitely see how that would keep her up if I was loud with the sensitivity so high. With the sensitivity set right, the fourth night was more of the same. Mumbling, and every now and then a coherent word that didn't fit a sentence. The recording picked up my dog, Lilith, moving around and breathing at one point as well. It made me chuckle that she's such a mouth breather, but then again, it was one more thing to keep my girlfriend awake. I texted my girlfriend after that night to see how she was doing and let her know I was recording myself at night so I could better understand why she had a hard time sleeping around me. "Hey sweetie, how have you been? How's your mum?" I asked her. She replied, "Hey Ryland, I've been good. She's good too." I texted again, saying, "I just wanted to let you know I've been recording myself at night, so I know why you haven't been able to sleep." But a whole 5 minutes went by with no response. She had been instantly replying before, so I texted again. I know that probably sounds creepy. I just wanted to show that I'm trying to do something about it. I never got a reply to any of my last few messages. I figured I weirded her out with the night recordings, but I wasn't going to overthink it. I set my phone up for the 5th night, but forgot to listen to it while I was getting ready for work in the morning. I was already in the car on my way to work when I thought of it, so I just waited until I was at work. I was sitting at my desk with a headphone in one ear. It was a pretty long recording compared to the other nights. I bet my dumb dog was nasty. I bet my dumb dog was breathing right next to the phone all night. Right away, guess what I heard? Big old breaths, but none other than Lilith. I had to laugh. Here I thought I was talking in my sleep, and it was just my dog snoring that was keeping my girlfriend awake. In the middle of the recording, I got a text from my girlfriend. Sorry, my phone died and wouldn't charge yesterday. It isn't you that keeps me up. It's the other voices. What does that mean? The recording was still playing in the background. Heron. What was I saying? Riley. It kind of sounds like it was saying my name. Ryland. I was. But what was she talking about? Other voices. The recording continued. Ryland. The voice was deep. It was sharp. It was not me. I ripped the earbud out and quickly stopped the recording. My eyes immediately teared up. I stared at my phone for a solid 30 minutes. I texted her back. I just heard it. Oh God, she said. I knew I wasn't crazy. No, I definitely heard it too, I replied. I couldn't listen to the rest. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight, but sleep is not it. I looked at my phone with the recording app and the 5th night's recording selected. I couldn't listen to the rest. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight, but sleep is not it. Love that sentence so much I said it twice.
That's it.
All of a sudden, I was hit with a chilling realization. The dog, Lilith, had been at my girlfriend's mother's house this entire week. She wasn't in the house when the recordings were taken. The loud breathing wasn't Lilith's. It was something else. Something that wasn't supposed to be there.
Nice.
My mind raced, trying to piece it all together. I thought back to the nights, replaying the audio in my head. The breathing, the strange voices. The chilling realization was too much to bear. I felt my heart pounding in my chest. I tried to convince myself it was some kind of weird glitch, some interference, anything but the truth. But the voice was too clear, too real. My hand trembling, I scrolled to the 6th night's recording, the one from last night. I hit play, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Silence at first, then soft, rustling sheets, my own muffled snores, and then the breathing. Heavy, ragged breaths that echoed in the silence of the night. The voice returned. Ryland. It was even deeper this time, and there was a strange quality to it that sent shivers down my spine. This time it wasn't coming from the recording, it was coming from downstairs.
Right, I'm going to be controversial here.
Right.
I'll leave.
Jesus. No. What the fuck is the girlfriend doing?
Oh, mate, I was
bitch.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah, just like, oh yeah, no, fuck that. I'm like, not tell him. By the way, your
Yeah.
house is haunted to fuck. You might want to get out of there. She's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't sleep here. See ya.
Also, I want to suggest, poor dog owner. How did you not know his dog weren't there for 6 days?
Hasn't fed the dog for 5 days.
Ain't let the dog out for a piss. Ain't taking for a walk. Ain't giving him any
I mean,
Oh
dinner.
my
that-
God, yeah.
But that, I don't necessarily think that's like he forgot his dog wasn't there. I think it was just like in his head when he was hearing this breathing, he just rationalised it straight away as his
Yeah.
dog and then realised, fuck, wait, the dog isn't here.
Grim.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking rank.
Okay, yeah.
That was horrible.
works.
That was a great
However,
story. That was horrible.
Back to the
Really good.
girlfriend.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah.
Absolute scrag, mate.
What's happening?
Right.
So then,
Nice,
while
isn't
he's
it? Yeah.
while he's like telling her that he's doing all this, listening to it back, she still waits another like day or two to actually.
Innit? Oh, sorry, my phone died.
He's driving himself insane,
So-
essentially doing this from her perspective.
You summarise this. They're clearly a pretty long-term relationship because she was almost living with him. She leaves, blaming it on his sleep talking, full well knowing that it's not him sleep talking, that it's other voices, never says anything to him, doesn't check in on him for a week. When he finally texts her about it, to A, show that he's trying to do something about it, but B, to explain that he now has heard it and has evidence of it, she ignores him for 2 days.
Not the best.
What the
Not
fuck?
the best partner there.
Girl math.
That's not the best partner.
Come
That makes no
Break up
sense.
with
Why would
her.
you do that? It's like, oh yeah, I knew the whole time you weren't talking in your sleep,
Yeah.
but haha, pranked. Fuck off.
Unless she kind of felt like it was attached to him, and so didn't want like a scenario where it's like, oh, your house is haunted, and then he ends up at hers, and then it follows to her house.
Yeah.
She's still a bitch. But I'm
Maybe
just
try
saying,
it.
Maybe that's her
How about
thing.
try it? How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it comes to your house,
It's
send
an
him
option.
home.
Yeah, just try
Yeah.
it. Try it out.
No, we've talked many times on this podcast of your sleep talking, Jordan. There's been plenty of occasions
Yeah.
where I could have left.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
mean,
Luckily,
was-
it's coming from you, though.
I was thinking about
Or
getting
is
one
it?
of them sleep apps, but then I thought it's a complete waste of time because my snoring is tragic and it would be
It's just going to be 8 hours.
Yeah, literally.
Even if literally someone else could be in the room talking at full volume and
Yeah.
it wouldn't pick it up.
Wouldn't pick it
You wouldn't
out.
hear it. You
Wouldn't
would not
pick it
hear it.
out. No. There you go.
That's class.
On
No,
a
no, great
tangent,
story.
You
Yes.
should get one of the sleep apps for investigations and just leave it running so it only picks up.
Yeah.
For $5.
Voices.
No, I'm joking.
Ooh,
That's a
good
great
point.
idea.
Yeah. Especially if you're sleeping at a place.
Yeah.
Just leave it running to
Maybe.
pick up noise. Again, if
Mm.
you're there, it wouldn't help the Bailey.
That's true.
If anyone listened to
Fine.
the end of the last podcast, then hopefully we will have 1 million Patreon subs right now. If you
There you
if
go.
you know, if you know, you know.
Wait.
Not the last podcast, on the next podcast.
No, I think that's the next podcast, Maya.
Spoilers. Wait around to the end of the next podcast, and you can be part of this joke.
Oh, it's not exclusive.
There you go. We
Foreshadowing.
don't always record them in order.
Out the secret. Out the secret.
That's it. Right, but my great story in the comments.
Thanks.
Out of 10. Let us know. Right, who wants to go next? I'll go last. So it's Scott and Bailey.
I don't
Well,
mind.
mine's
going
about 4 seconds. So,
You go
Scott,
first.
if you want.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. He turns up once every fucking 8 weeks.
Hey,
And he
listen,
gets a
make
4
an
second
impact.
story.
No, I mean,
Right.
well, no one
He's on the
gave
pod-
me
he's on
any
the
praise
podcast
of how
twice
long
today.
these needed to go. So
You were in last year's fucking episode.
I know, but I didn't realise there was a fucking criteria to follow. Didn't realise it was like, by the way, it needs to be a minimum of 3 pages.
Right, we're going to get 5 2-sentence horror stories, and that's the Hollywood.
Okay.
Halloween.
Well, listen,
Happy Halloween, everyone.
listen. I maybe it may be short and sweet. You know,
Yeah.
get my interest. Okay, here we go.
Go on.
This one is who's in my bed.
The end.
Me. The end.
Okay. A father went to say goodnight to his 7-year-old son, very well knowing that he didn't sleep very well if he didn't go and say goodnight. A nightly routine between them, he entered the dimly lit room and his son waited under the blanket. With the first glance, the father could tell there was something unusual about his son tonight, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. He looked the same, but the grin drew ear to ear. "Are you okay, buddy?" the father asked. The son nodded, still with the grin, before saying, "Daddy, check under the bed for monsters." The father checked on his hands and knees, only seeing his son under his bed, pale-faced, afraid, saying, "Daddy, there's someone in my bed."
Oh.
There you go.
That was good. I'm going to make a short out
Fair
of that.
enough.
Nice one.
That was good.
That was
Also,
good.
the mic crisp as fuck, and you 100% need to follow up on getting some voiceover work because that was
Thank you.
10
There you
10.
go.
That was
You
like
can start by
ASMR.
doing voiceover work on here and getting a fucking longer story.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Right.
It's true. It's true.
That was a
Listen,
great story. That was a great story.
Very
yeah, it's
good.
great. I kind of like, you know, I kind of felt one that would creep me out. Having 2
Yeah.
small children, that would fuck me up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? I mean, you know, crazy, you know, people running out at me and chopping heads off, that would fuck me up as well. And also creepy sounds while I'm sleeping would fuck me up as well. But, you know, same.
I just like the idea of combining my story and your story, where it's just like So the dad goes in there, sees the situation, does what the girlfriend in the previous story did, and just fucks off for a few days. And
No
then it's just
explanation.
like, oh yeah, sorry, there's a monster in our child's bed.
Yeah, by the way, love, can you get some milk?
Just opens the door every now and again. Goes, "Are you winning, son?"
How you doing? How you doing?
Are you winning,
Top
son?
bunk, bottom bunk. Yeah, all right, okay.
Yeah. It just opens the door. It's like, oh, fuck. We're out of milk. It just backs away.
Oh, all of a sudden, need to buy myself some Marlboro Reds. Haven't smoked for 20 years.
But I
That pint
feel
of
like
milk will go
taking
great.
Oh, yeah, that would suck. That would fucking suck.
Indeed.
Oh, man, great story. Right, Scott,
Hello.
have you got something that can fill 25 minutes? Go on, son.
No. So mine is called Something Happened on a Ranch.
Ah,
Now
Nice.
we have got this is
Dressing.
Ranch or ranch?
What is the difference?
No, there's no difference. It says pronunciation. I would say ranch.
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 Do you say ranch? Do you say
I
ranch?
do. I do.
Ranch. That's the Plymouth in you, isn't it?
Yeah,
is.
it's not
Ranch. What do you say, Bailey? You're kind of like Cambridge, London-esque.
ranch.
Ranch. Lozzie, what do you say?
Yeah, ranch.
Maya, what do you say?
Ranch.
Raw. What do you say?
Raw.
Raw.
Rawr.
Yeah, what do you say, Maya? A T-Rex. Raw.
There you go.
POV, I'm a T-Rex.
That's it.
No, it's good. No, cool. A ranch. I like it. I like it, Scott. Go on. What we got?
So this is from Reddit.
Nice.
So
Nice.
no idea how to explain this in a title. Also not sure about the flair, so please correct me. During a school break, me and my mom and one of my other brothers went to go visit our uncle on his ranch in Nevada. I have trouble sleeping, so one night I decided to take a walk around the perimeter of the ranch. That word seems to be in every other sentence.
Hang
now.
on, hang on a
It's
minute,
gonna
Scott.
be-
Listen, mate, if you're going to say ranch at the start, at least
Yeah,
be
hang on. Where's
consistent,
ranch?
mate.
Yeah, where's ranch gone?
Where's ranch?
This is the effect of peer pressure, everyone.
Ah.
Yeah.
I think now it's
Say
not at the
what?
end of the sentence. It kind of flows better, to be fair.
We've accidentally beaten the Plymouth out of him.
Scott, how do you say, what do you know, when you go draw yourself a bath? What do you say? Bath.
Do you have a bath or a bar?
Bath.
You have a
No
bath.
way.
Oh, what
Jeez.
would you say? Bar.
Bath.
Bath.
Bar.
What do you
And
say?
I walk on the
Ah.
bar.
Ah.
Bath.
She just says the beginning
Just-
of words.
just
Right,
bar.
and bar.
It's your job to figure
Run
out.
a bar.
Right,
I'm out the
POV. POV. I'm a sheep.
bar.
Bar.
I'm a
What
sheep
about the last
on the
one? Then we
ranch.
will get back to the scary story. Sorry, everyone at home. Do you sit on grass or grass?
Girl.
Gra-
Rah, and rat. Got it.
What do you do, Scott?
Grass.
Grass.
Oh, yeah,
You
that's
like
how you
grass,
say it.
grass. You sort of combine the two. This is great.
Grass.
Like, I've known you for so long, and I don't
I've
know why
never
your
noticed.
accent is now fascinating.
Yeah,
Me. I don't know why.
literally. I can't believe I've never noticed because you don't have like a strong accent. But now that we're picking it apart and breaking it down,
Just
now
when
I
he's
can
about to
hear
tell a
it.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
middle-
I've never
in the
been so
middle of a pod-
self-conscious.
In the middle of a podcast. You love it.
Sorry, this is awful. Sorry. Hit that like button for Scott, for fuck's sake. Right, Scott, sorry. Uninterrupted. Please continue
So-
your story.
I have trouble sleeping, so one night I decided to take a walk around the perimeter of the ranch, just for some air. I'd made it
Nice.
all the
Yeah.
way to the other side of the ranch, and I'm switching halfway through now.
This is great. Keep us on
to
the
the
do-
far
just
end
do
of the
you.
pastures. From the last fence to a woodsy hill area about 50 yards. I decided to stay and look up in the grassy area to look at the stars. What no one had told the city girl.
Right, Bailey, mute yourself, and Maya, mute yourselves, please.
it's you. You're fucking smiling.
Am I not allowed to enjoy my friend's story?
Me
I don't understand. Why? I don't understand.
concept of you smiling in admiration.
He just said he says grass, and then he just goes grassy area. Oh God, that whole bit was
Bailey, have you been smoking like 60 a day?
I'm not very well at the minute. I'm very bunged up.
All right.
You sound
Sorry,
like a crapple of a
listen.
babe.
Sorry,
Scott,
I will
please.
mute myself for the rest and laugh in silence.
Scott, please.
Okay,
Let's give
I'm
Scott
here.
the floor.
I decided to stay and look up in the grassy area to look at the stars. What no one had told this city girl was that with no trees and no lights, save for the barn on the other side of the ranch, you can see so many fucking stars. It was breathtaking to see the universe like that. I started whistling. I heard a branch crack, so I stopped, a little startled. Then something else started to whistle right at me. I froze.
Ignore
and
me.
it seemed-
Sorry, Scott, I'm so fucking sorry. I'm so sorry for the people at home. It's unbelievable how many words in this story have an accent thing, because you said branch, but I was thinking surely for you it's branch.
No, he said branch.
I thought you said branch.
No, he said branch.
I'm even hearing what I want to hear now.
There we go. Just mute yourself.
Listen,
Scott, carry on.
no, right. I want to take the opportunity to apologise to everyone at home that I am ruining this for you all. Lozzie is just a stellar professional. Maya can't contain herself.
I'm
Bailey
laughing
can't
at
contain
you.
himself. I can't contain myself. And Scott's
I was
just trying
struggling,
to
to
do
be
his
fair.
job. Scott, you have the floor.
Again.
So, I started whistling. I heard a branch crack, so I stopped, a little startled. Then something else started to whistle right at me. I froze, and it seemed
Right. I don't know. I don't know if, for the sake of the podcast, we should take a break
Giggles.
and then come back, or if we just sit in this for a minute.
I think we should take a break. Scott, you can start the story again.
Yeah.
You can branch it, you can grass it as much as you want, and
Yeah.
we can get to
You
get
can
through
ranch
this.
it or ranch it,
Yeah.
grass it or grass it, branch it or branch it. So many options.
Does he take a bath in this story as well?
More than likely.
thankfully no.
Okay.
I mean, it
right.
shows how well we've been listening. It's a girl.
Ah, that's great.
Yes, because that was one thing that really made me laugh, because when Scott was reading the story, what did you say? It was something like, and this country girl.
Which no one had told this city girl.
Ah, city girl,
But
not
it was
even
the way
country.
you read it, because it
God.
looked like you were saying it, which was really funny.
Anyway,
Anyway.
everyone at home, we're very sorry. We're very, very sorry. Okay. Is that out of
think
our
I'm ready.
systems now?
I think
I'm
Okay.
out. I'm ready. I'm good.
And I
All
started
right.
from the top.
Scott, yeah, start from the
Okay.
start.
Everyone from the top. That's excellent.
Okay. So this one is called Something Happened on a Ranch. During a school break, me and my mom and one of my older brothers went to visit our uncle on his ranch in Nevada. I have trouble sleeping, so one night I decided to take a walk around the perimeter just for some air. I'd made it all the way to the other side, to the far perimeter of the pastures. From the last fence to a woodsy hills area is about 50 yards. I decided to stay and look up in the grassy area to look at the stars. What no one had told this city girl was that with no trees and no lights, save for the barn on the other side, you can see so many stars. It was breathtaking to see the universe like that. I started whistling. I heard a branch crack, so I stopped, a little startled. Then something else started to whistle right at me. I froze, and it seemed like every hair on my body stood straight up. I couldn't move, and the whistling got louder and closer. It was almost the exact same nonsense melody I was whistling not 15 seconds ago. I know what you're thinking, but OP, birds are a thing. Bull fucking shit. I know the difference between a bird and whatever the hell that was. And this ain't even over yet, so buckle up. I, the stupid white girl in a horror movie, decided
you,
to
Scott.
say...
That's you,
That is
Scott.
me. That is me. The stupid white girl in a horror movie decided to say, hello? Something said, hello, right back at me in my own
Oh,
voice. And yes, I know what my voice sounds like. Slightly raspy, faint Bronx accent, usually lower pitched unless I'm excited or mad. Then it's usually so high pitched, my friends say I sound like Harley Quinn on Adderall. Another good description
Nice.
of that.
Yeah.
Another branch snapped, and that was my cue to fucking book it back to the back around the paddocks to the barn and main house, which was about 2 acres. It was like a blur. I have knee issues from a car crash, but I didn't even feel an ache as I sprinted all the way back to the main house. I still don't know what it was. Didn't tell anyone else about it, despite my mum being extremely superstitious. I did a little bit of frantic Googling the day after, and the closest thing I could come up with was a skinwalker. Can anyone help? I'm still freaked out. It happened in February of this year. Any suggestions as to what the fuck it was are welcome.
Gotta be a skinwalker, innit?
As soon as I heard the mimicking,
So,
it's a
for
skinwalker.
context
And
on
it's on a
that,
ranch, a skinwalker ranch.
in Nevada,
Ugh.
which is on the border, so one of the follow-up comments on this on Reddit was talking about the location, and they did say
Yeah.
it's on a ranch in Nevada on the border of the Utah-Arizona area, just near Navajo sort of tribal areas,
Oh, okay.
which is
yeah.
kind of where the Skinwalker
Yeah,
mythos
comes
lingers.
from. Yeah.
Where is the Appalachian Trail? Does
I
anyone
think
know?
the Appalachian Trail, unless I'm completely wrong, Lozzie, can you have a quick Google? I think isn't the Appalachian Trail like? I'm gonna. People in America are literally gonna hate me for this. Isn't it like 1,000 miles long? That's stupid.
Something like
100
that.
miles
But
long.
I think it's
massive,
a
isn't it?
1,000 miles on the east.
Huge.
On the east coast.
Yeah, it's fucking
Yeah.
massive.
Didn't we do a
Yeah,
podcast on
it
this?
runs.
Yeah, we
It
did.
runs
Yeah.
from New Brunswick. That's
To
not a
New
place.
Goldswick.
Oh,
it
that
runs
was
from-
shy. Oh no. Sorry.
Like up near. Yeah, New Brunswick, all the way down to Alabama.
Wow.
It passes through 14 states,
That's insane.
Wow. How long is it in miles?
2,200 miles.
I
wow, you-
see, right?
you
I
were short
wanted
by
to
1,000,
fucking
mate.
say that. I wanted to say that, but I thought you're going to look like a knob. So say 1,000. God damn it.
Now look at you.
Might
Now I
be
just look
100.
like a knob
No,
either way.
He was actually 1,000.
Yeah, I was
short.
so scared of the internet.
Yeah,
Yeah, Russia does that.
apparently
That's
that's
it.
a
That's
thing.
it. You
It's
were
like-
scared to be Plymouth.
Be
Sorry,
Plymouth.
boys.
God
You were
forbid
scared
being
to
Plymouth.
be Plymouth.
Because of us.
Scott is.
Yeah, we
Plymouth.
gave Scott a complex just before he started reading his story. That was
Yeah.
so
It was a great
mean.
story, though. It was a great
Honestly, I switched pronunciations about 6 times during that story.
Yeah, you did.
I know.
You did.
There
I
was a
also
couple of
skipped words
moments.
a couple of times.
I nearly
Nice.
went.
Kept it
But yeah,
fresh.
the Appalachian Trail, apparently, like the number one thing that they recommend that you listen out for as a warning sign is whistling.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you hear
Wow.
whistling, the thing that you're instructed to do is ignore it. So,
Wow. That's
Yeah.
horrible. Is that
rank.
because of skinwalkers or because of murderers?
I think skinwalkers.
Same thing.
Whoa. Just got chills.
That's it.
Sure. To who? I don't know.
That's it.
Skinwalkers?
Great story, though. Great story. Do you believe in
Yeah.
skinwalkers? Let us know down below when rating Scott's story. Oh, rate Bailey's as well. So
Yeah, mine just gets brushed over. It's fine.
no,
It's easy.
no,
If you need a 10, that's
no.
why.
Yeah.
Right,
Jesus.
right. Now, mine. I've gone for.
He ain't got a story.
Straight off the dome.
He's
Freestyle.
just gonna chat.
It was a dark, thundery night in the castle.
And then I
Ooh.
woke up and it was all a dream.
No,
Ooh.
so I've gone for realism spooks
Nice.
Nice.
because this is sort of like meta. It's not at all. It's not at all. Obviously, in the near future, we are going to be trialing, and we want your feedback. Let us know. True crime episodes, just mixing them in.
Ooh.
Now, I'm not
I've
doing a
got a
true
point
crime
to
case.
say
Oh,
after.
go on, yeah, go on. Go on.
No, I
No, go on.
found And if you're happy for me to, I would love to host my own
Oh,
true crime
Podcast?
episode.
Yeah.
Podcast.
I'm off.
this is
Side
my
podcast.
last. This is my last.
This
part,
is
you
my
guys.
last episode.
On
The Maya
thing-
Files.
called The Mysterious Death of the Climbers at Kamar Daban Pass. It is the fucking most craziest thing I've ever heard, but it's not only true crime and death and
Oh,
horrid and really spooky, it's also a conspiracy theory, and I would love
Oh, lovely.
to do that for an episode.
Okay, cool.
If
Well-
people want us to do the true crime thing, please say yes.
Maya's just
Well-
finding spoilers for all future episodes, isn't she?
In it. So
All
we
right.
obviously we have the Halloween special this week. We have next week's already recorded. So would you like that gives you time to prepare for it? Would you like
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'll do it now.
Okay, right. The Halloween special is over. True crime begin. No, right. So that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, we'll do that next. After,
Yeah, sorry.
but for you guys at home,
2 weeks.
it'll be 2 weeks. Okay, right. This is on Reddit. No sleep Reddit. I'm a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forest Service, and I have some stories to tell. I wasn't sure where else to post these stories, so I figured I'd share them here. I've been an SAR officer for a few years now, and along the way I've seen some things that I think you guys would be interested in. I have a pretty good track record for finding missing people. Fuck, what flex, what legend. Most of the time, they just wander off the path or slip down a small cliff, and they can't find their way back. The majority of them have heard the old stay where you are thing, and they don't wander too far. But I've had 2 cases where that did not happen. Both bother me a lot, and I use them as motivation to search even harder on the missing persons cases I get called on. The first was a little boy who was out berry picking with his parents. He and his sister were together, and both of them went missing around the same time. Their parents lost sight of them for a few seconds, and in that time, both the kids apparently wandered off. When their parents couldn't find them, they called us, and we came out to search the area. We found the daughter pretty quickly, and when we asked where her brother was, she told us that he'd been taken away by the bear man. She said he gave her berries and told her to stay quiet, that he wanted to play with her brother for a while. The last she saw of her brother, he was riding on the shoulders of the bear man and seemed calm. Of course, our first thought was abduction, but we never found a trace of another human being in that area. The little girl was also insistent that he was not a normal man, but that he was tall and covered in hair like a bear, and that he had a weird face. We searched that area for weeks. It was one of the longest calls I've ever been on, but we never found a single trace of that kid. The other was a young woman who was out hiking with her mum and grandpa. According to the mother, her daughter had climbed up a tree to get a better view of the forest, and she never came back down. They waited at the base of the tree for hours, calling her name before they called for help. Again, we searched everywhere, and we never found a trace of her. I have no idea where she could possibly have gone, because neither her mother or grandpa saw her come down. So that's the first story of 2 people. Next one. A few times I've been out on my own searching with a canine, and they've tried to lead me straight up cliffs. Not hills, not even rock faces, straight, sheer cliffs with no possible handholds. It's always baffling, and in those cases we usually find the person on the other side of the cliff or miles away from where the canine has led us. I'm sure there's an explanation, but it's sort of strange. I was teamed up with another SAR officer because we'd received reports of bears in the area. We were looking for a guy who hadn't come home from a climbing trip when he was supposed to, and we ended up having to do some serious climbing to get to where we'd figure he'd be. We found him trapped in a small crevasse with a broken leg. It was not pleasant. He'd been there for almost 2 days, and his leg was obviously very infected. We were able to get him into a chopper, and I heard from one of the EMTs that the guy was absolutely inconsolable. He kept talking about how he'd been doing fine, and when he'd gotten to the top, a man had been there. He said the guy had no climbing equipment, and he was wearing a parka and ski pants. He walked up to the guy, and when the guy turned around, he had no face. It was just blank. He freaked out and ended up trying to get off the mountain too fast, which is why he'd fallen. He said he could hear the guy all night climbing down the mountain and letting out these horrible, muffled screams. That story bothered the hell out of me. I'm glad I wasn't there to hear it. Okay, we've got 2 more, and then we're going to discuss them all, okay? So one of the scariest things I've ever had happen to me involved the search for a young woman who'd gotten separated from her hiking group. We were out all night. We were out until late at night because the dogs had picked up her scent. When we found her, she was curled up under a large rotted log. She was missing her shoes and pack, and she was clearly in shock. She didn't have any injuries, though, and we were able to get her to walk with us back to the base camp. Along the way, she kept looking behind us and asking us why that big man with black eyes was following us. We couldn't see anyone, so we just wrote it off as some weird symptom of shock. But the closer we got to base, the more agitated this woman got. She kept asking me to tell him to stop making faces at her. At one point, she stopped and turned around and started yelling into the forest, saying that she wanted him to leave her alone. She wasn't going to go with him, she said, and she wouldn't give us to him. We finally got her to keep moving, but we started hearing these weird noises coming from all around us. It was almost like coughing, but more rhythmic and deeper. It was almost insect-like. I don't really know how else to describe it. When we were within the sight of base ops, the woman turns to me, and her eyes are about as wide as I can imagine a human could open them. She touches my shoulder and says, He says to tell you to speed up. He doesn't like looking at the scar on your neck. I have a very small scar on the base of my neck, but it's mostly hidden under my collar, and I have no idea how this woman saw it. Right after she says it, I hear that weird coughing right in my ear, and I just about jumped out of my skin. I hustled her to ops, trying not to show how freaked out I was, but I have to say, I was really happy when we left the area that night. Okay, last one. I know we're eager to talk about them, and I'm very eager to discuss them, but last one, here we go. This is the last one I'll tell, and it's probably the weirdest story I have. Now, I don't know if this is true in every SAR unit, but in mine, it's sort of an unspoken regular thing we run into. You can try asking about it with other SAR officers, but even if they know what you're talking about, they probably won't say anything about it. We've been told not to talk about it by our superiors, and at this point, we've all gotten so used to it that it doesn't even seem weird anymore. On just about every case where we're really far into the wilderness, and I'm talking like 30 or 40 miles, at some point, we'll find a staircase in the middle of the woods. It's almost like if you took the stairs in your house, cut them out, and put them in the forest. I asked about it the first time I saw some, and the other officer just told me not to worry about it, that it was normal. Everyone I asked said the same thing. I wanted to go check them out, but I was told very emphatically that I should never go near any of them. I just sort of ignore them now when I run into them because it happens so frequently.
I've heard of that before. That is
Yeah, I've done a video on it. It's absolutely insane.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I'm fucking telling you now, national parks in America, something is going on.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like so many elements of these stories, right, are just mind blowing. So like there's evidently like, you know, the bear man and the thing behind him in the final story as well. That's maybe like Bigfoot-esque, right? You've got the woman that climbed a tree and was never seen again, and her mum and grandfather was at the base of the tree. Where the fuck does she go? You've got you've got like I think is it the missing 418 or the missing 118? I can't remember what this called. It's like this guy that has documented all of these people that have just 411. They've just gone missing, and and some of them it's literally a case of like, you know, the family are camping in the Appalachian Mountains or whatever, and then a kid will like walk behind a tree and then just be gone, and then they'll send out, you know, search parties, and there's just no trace of them ever again, and they're never seen ever again. It's just so weird. There's so many things with.
Someone did a study. Oh, I'm not going to be able to send it to you. Let me get it up on my phone. Someone did a study on the missing people's cases in America compared to the American cave systems, which are heavily linked. If you Google missing people versus cave system in America and then look at the images, it's insane. Like,
they literally line up.
Every single person that is missing in America has gone missing along those cave routes. And they're not like, it's not like the whole of America has cave systems in every single state. It is literally, particularly the Appalachian Trail. Now that I know where that is, it makes so much more sense where these missing people are.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
The Bigfoots are coming out and taking people.
I thought it was this kind of linked to Wendigos.
And I'm not even
as
fucking
well,
joking, man. Yeah, 100. Yeah, that place is so fucking big. Like, there are species of animals that exist in smaller spaces than is available in America, and yet the idea of some of these cryptids is just like, shut up, you're an idiot. It's like, man, when it comes to like national parks and shit and disappearances and all the weird shit that goes on, if I had a gun to my head and I had to, you know, pull the trigger on an answer, and if I'm wrong, I die, and I had to have a gun to my head and say, like Sasquatch type creatures in some of the national parks of America, I would pull the trigger on it being yes, because I honestly think that it's a stronger chance that there are creatures in those areas that are just undocumented. Maybe they do live in cave systems, which is why we don't see them, and they just come out every now and then to feed and stuff, and, you know, hibernate and all the rest of it. Man, there's just so much weird shit that happens in those areas. And this is probably, to be honest, out of everything in the paranormal, I would probably say this shit is what fascinates me the most. Like, the national parks, the disappearances, the weird shit that happens in those areas. That's the, you know, I love all ghosts and demons and aliens, which aliens could be related to that as well. All the rest of it. But yeah, this sort of stuff is what really piques my interest.
Yeah, apart from that second to last story, that is literally the worst thing that I've ever heard.
Oh, finding the woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curled up under a log.
Like when she's
Black-eyed
saying,
man or whatever.
stop making faces at me.
Yeah.
Ew!
Yeah. The big man with black eyes. But also the description of like the coughing, with rhythmic coughing, but it was almost insect-like.
Yeah, it's also so niche. Like, what a weird detail to make up. Oh,
yeah.
I hated that story so much. And also the like thing climbing down the mountain with no face. Ew.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Ew.
Yeah,
You just
yeah,
imagine
yeah.
6 hours or
So-
whatever while trapped.
Just imagine the fear if you was in that situation,
Yeah.
knowing what you've seen out there. You're stuck and injured and have no way of moving, and
And you
just
can
hearing
hear
it
it.
getting closer
Oh
and
my
closer.
God.
I don't think there's anything more scary
Yeah.
because you are completely trapped. You can't do
vulnerable.
anything. You just have to wait and to see what happens.
Yeah.
Rank.
Horrid.
Yeah.
Horrid.
David Polides. He's the one that wrote about the missing 411. Yeah. Yeah, mad. We'll have to do some more episodes on like stories from national parks because I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. Did it creep you out? This has been the Halloween special. Halloween special. Thank you so much. Listen, this isn't the only content coming this week. On Sunday, you've got the investigation. It's actually the longest investigation we've ever done. It clocks in at 1 hour, 50 minutes, 50.
Oof.
And it's a madness. It's a madness. If you want to support the podcast, if you want to support the channel, if you want to support the investigations, head over to the Patreon. You get early access to lots of content behind the scenes and all that good stuff. And also you get early access to merch drops. So we've got some T-shirts that are currently available. And if you head over to the Patreon, you can get the pre-release of those. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you guys for bringing all of these stories. They were all epic. And
Thanks.
probably what we're going to do next year for Halloween. So I think it's just cool. But maybe all of us will dress up, not just Maya.
I do still have hair, by the way.
You do still have hair.
I know you guys thought that I shaved it because it looked so
I did.
realistic.
I
but
thought you shaved it.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah, okay. So we'll be back next week with... What was it? What was it? What did we do? What did we record for next week?
A lot of this and a lot of that.
What was it?
Stories.
Emails, I think.
Emails. We listen to your stories that you email in. So I don't know how you listen to an email. I read them out. dutystories@gmail.com. Get your stories in. Fantastic. And we'll see you very, very soon. Dribbity drop.
Halloween.
Dribbity drop. Happy Halloween. Get your sweets for the kids. Come on now. See you.